teenagers' brain are still rapidly developing, particularly due to what is called the prefrontal cortex. It's responsible for their emotion, it regulates their emotion, it also affects their decision making and impulse control. Hormonal changes and brain development lead to intense emotion, mood swing, and sensitivity. Now, pair relationships become increasingly important to them. So that would mean they gravitate towards those who are interested in what they are interested in, those who are their friends, those who care what they care about, those who go in the direction of their interests and life. Welcome to this particular video, and in this video, though we've discussed it briefly in some of our other videos, we'll be looking at understanding the mind of a teenager. Of course, you probably have questions. What is in their mind? Why do they think the way they think? Why are they quote and unquote difficult to understand? Well, the truth of the matter is this: they aren't, if you know what to do with them. So basically, we're looking at the brain or the mind of a teenager. Number one is the brain development. Now, teenagers' brain are still rapidly developing. Now, when I had my first and second child, well, my first child to be precise, I must have read close to 1,000 articles. I remember downloading Baby Bump and one other app, and almost every week I could see the progress from fetus, the embryo, fetus, and what have you, till the baby was grown and 9 months they came. And so you could see the different parts of the child as they metamorphosed from different level, the first trimester, second trimester, third trimester, and the baby arrived. Similarly, the most actively developed part of a teenager is their brain, and often is the emotional part. So in looking at the mind of a teenager, you're looking at the brain development. Teenagers' brain are still developing, particularly due to what is called the prefrontal cortex. Now, prefrontal cortex regulates their emotion. Now, this is the most, if you could put it in degree, is the most developed part of a teenager's brain. It's responsible for their emotion. It regulates their emotion. It also affects their decision making and impulse control. Now, that is why things that are emotional appealing, whether through words, text, audio, or maybe touch, actually seems to be more compelling, and adolescents are really attracted to that. And it's important, and it also informs really why teenagers make more emotional decision than logical decision. It explains also why, except they are helped, educated, coached, and trained, right, they make more irrational or have issues with delay gratification. The next thing you need to understand about the mind of an adolescent is emotional turbulence. Hormonal changes and brain development lead to intense emotion, mood swing, and sensitivity. The reason is because the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for the emotion, is the most advanced and developed part of their brain. Of course, as they get older, it kind of reduces, and the logical part of their brain is in an increasing measure. So you will notice, of course, based on knowledge and development of the brain, experience, proper parenting or coaching, as the case may be, they make better decisions as they advance in age, and also because their brain is even now further or fully developed. Number three is identity formation. At the mind of a teenager, and in our other videos we've addressed the difference between an adolescent and a teenager. Now that the teen age is within the adolescent period. So pardon me if I keep using the word adolescent and teenager, but more precisely in this particular discussion is identity formation. Teens are they explore at this time sense of self, trying to identify difference between seeking independence, getting validation from other people's opinion, and of course a lot of curiosity leads to experimentation. And at this point, really, like I would always say, Your teenage is not when your young people need you less. If anything at all, they need you more at this time because, of course, the question may now be how and where they need you. But to think that they don't need you at all is to put them in a situation where they won't learn certain things that can help them as they prepare for their adult life. Number 4 is social relationship, dealing with the mind of the teenager. Now, pair relationship become increasingly important to them. So that would mean they gravitate towards those who are interested in what they are interested in, those who are their friends, those who care what they care about, those who go in the direction of their interests and likes. And that is why really you can't maintain that superior alpha figure in their life. You need to stoop to conquer, you need to come to their level, you need to be their friend, because the truth of the matter is this: when you are their friend, it not only gives them the opportunity to gravitate towards, because at this point really they don't need somebody to order them around or pick out their fault, explain what they are not doing right. They will gravitate anybody who is their genuine friend. And really it doesn't matter whether its age is not a factor at this point, because you'll be surprised that you have teenagers that they are not necessarily your friend, maybe because you are their parents or guardian, but they are friends with other people maybe about your age. So it's not about whether or not there could be other factors responsible for it, but primarily the point is this: at this point their want and desire for a pair relationship is very strong. Age is not a factor. If you would be their friend, you'll get the best out of them. Another thing very important at this stage is risk taking. Teens are more likely to engage in risky behaviors due to impulsivity and a desire for seeking adventure. It comes with this age. They have less care. Curiosity will make them ask certain questions. Curiosity will make them experiment. And that's why really there are conversations you cannot dodge away from, because you see, it's better they hear from you. And if they are well informed, they'll take more informed decisions that would help them become the best version of themselves as they prepare for their adulthood. The next thing, very importantly, is communication style. Things may use indirect and coded language. And when you are their friend, you understand the code. When you're their friend, you understand certain terms that they use. They use social media language, text language, non-verbal communication. Terms that, like in Nigeria, for instance, they say is demore. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe this is someone that has tease or nice composure. You see, it's just common terms and lingua, very similar to teenagers. And the essence of having this discussion is, I assume you want to have the best prepared young adults that will eventually become somebody you're proud of in the future. That's why you're here. And we're letting you understand how their mind works, and accepting the fact that this is the way their mind works would help you know how to relate with them or deal with them, as the case may be. Another thing about them is emotional regulation. Teens may struggle to manage stress. They may struggle with anxiety, emotions leading to mood swings and withdrawal. It's irrespective of the gender, but of course in this part of the world we say men don't cry. It's not true. Not true. It has caused more harm than good to the male child. And at this point really, it's important to give your male child attention and not take it that, oh, it's fine, it's just being quiet. When you begin to see a very expressive, happy young male adolescent and they become withdrawn, it's important that, like you would treat your female child, you should ask them how they're doing, become their friend. An environment that is a bit more relaxing and reassuring will make them open up to you. Another very important thing is the sleep patterns. Now, teen sleep pattern shifts leading to later bedtimes and sleep deprivation. Of course, if they maintain that habit, they may grow up to become that kind of adult. But generally, at teen age, they seem to be like nocturnal human beings that at night really is like when they are active, and during the day or maybe early hours of the morning, they just want to catch some sleep. Now, that is not an excuse or to say allow them to do that, but the point is, when you understand it, you can begin to guide them. Have things like curfew, have an agreement. Okay, you have to go to bed now, maybe because you're going to school the next day, or you're going to work, or you're interning somewhere. Help them manage this place, because really we're dealing with what their mind is like at this moment. A denial of fact really is to have a teenager that will rebel, a teenager that will argue, a teenager that doesn't want to be your friend, a teenager that doesn't want to talk to you, a teenager that thinks you don't care, a teenager that is just every other thing apart from what you want from them. Next thing is learning and motivation. Teens may be motivated by short-term rewards and peer recognition rather than long-term goal. So you see, I told you, because of the prefrontal cortex, where their mind works, it's more like no delayed gratification. And like some say, they're a microwave generation. They want it now. Forget about tomorrow. But understanding this, you begin to look at reward system. You begin to explore and educate them in the area of action, consequences, and why they should wait. And a lot of things. Help them understand that they need to grow up and not jump up, because of course, if they jump up, that means they will come down. This is very important. When you understand, you can better relate with them and help them become the best version possible. And last but not the least is resilience. Teens can be quite resilient and adaptable, but they may need guidance and support to develop coping strategies. They can be quite strong, they can be quite tough. Adaptive nature is quite prominent at this time. That's why they can stay long hours reading or preparing for an exam, or withstand very tough situation at this stage. It's an advantage. Again, understanding this is to help you get the best version of the teenager that you have. Now, by understanding these factors that shape or factors really, or patterns, as far as the mind of a teenager is concerned, parents, educators, coaches, caregivers, guidance, and other stakeholders, you can better support and connect with your teenagers by helping them navigate this very crucial part of their developmental stage. One thing you should also not ignore is the individualization and differentiation. Now, these are two essential processes when you're dealing with adolescents, and I'd like to give an explanation on that. Now, when you say individualization, you're dealing with the process of forming a unique sense of self that is separate from others. The realization of the fact that I'm not like the other person, I am unique in my own way. Now, teens explore their own thoughts, explore their feelings, their values to develop autonomous identity that is unique to them. So this is my style. This is where I behave. This is where I work. Now, it involves self-discovery, self-awareness, self-mastery. Now, a lot of experimentation with roles and identity, development of personal values and belief. I'm still dealing with individualization. So a strong sense of that I am an individual as different from all of us. Increased independence from family and others. Now, when you flip to the other side, differentiation. Now, this is the process of distinguishing oneself from others, highlighting individuality. Now, teens develop their own interests, they develop their skills and relationship. Now, this sets them apart from others. That means they are an individual by themselves, based on different factors, how you brought them up, upbringing, cultural background, what a view really, and relationship you have with them. But then they are also different. Now, developing unique interest and passion, they form close relationship outside the family. That can happen, they establish personal boundaries, exploring individual strengths and strength. Now, this is their identity they are forming. They are forming the kind of adults that they will become. And I always like to tell people, the teenager that your child is the adults they will become. And so it is critical that you give them attention, support, care, love, and help them become the best version possible. Now, both individualization and differentiation, they are very critical in adolescent development. It enables them to develop a strong sense of self. It helps them form meaningful relationship. It helps them build confidence and self-esteem. It prepares them for independent adulthood. Now, during this stage, teens may challenge authority. They may explore boundaries, experiment with different identities and roles, They may form close relationship with peers, develop new interests and skills, assert their individuality and autonomy, just to say, I am a person and I have my own beliefs or conviction, as it were. However, they may not necessarily be right, but it's a fact that you have to come to terms with and help them during this phase until they begin to know, oh, maybe they were not exactly right, maybe these were assumptions, and they begin to validate some of their positions and opinion. Now, again, understanding individualization and differentiation, parents, caregivers, stakeholders, and every other person that young people can support their teen towards the journey of discovering themselves and becoming independent. Now, maybe let me conclude with this. In addition to individualization and differentiation, another critical part to consider, right, in preparing adolescents for a successful adult life is this. You need to look at things like emotional intelligence. That means teach them to become aware of their emotion and regulate their emotion and consider the impact of their reaction or their response based on what other people do to them, that the impact on the other person. So they're able to regulate. The next thing is resilience and adaptability. I already spoke about that. Communication and conflict resolution. Now, so you have to model for them healthy communication, active listening, and constructive conflict resolution. Another skills that is important in this phase, knowing how their mind works, is time management and organization. It can be taught because you see a lot is happening at this phase, and certain simple things like this can help them. Another thing you want to put before them is financial literacy. Educate them on budgeting, expenses, savings, how money works and how it runs. Last but not the least is healthy habits, regular exercise, balanced nutrition, reduce of carbonated drink, caffeine, and what have you. You have to look at a lot of really other simple things that you can help them with. Now, by putting all of this together and understanding the way the mind young people work, you help your teenagers develop a strong foundation for a successful and a very fulfilling adult life. Basically, that's what all of this has been about. So prepare your adolescents for a successful and significantly impactful adult life. This is as much as we can take in this particular discussion. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.
Teens Voice Academy. Preparing adolescents for a significantly impactful adult life.